launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome in to a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Nick Geddes coming into you live from the Kingmaker studio here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. JP, for everybody wondering, he is in Colorado this week on a ski trip, so he's having some fun out there. He's going to be joining the show sporadically, though, throughout the week as we go on, even from Colorado. So even when he goes on vacation, he still manages to find a way to get himself on the show. Oh, here I am hitting the wrong buttons to start. Great start. But anyway, he'll be back on tomorrow, I believe, for an hour with Tin Hanford. For today, I'm going to handle the show for the first 45 minutes or hour or so, and then Orestes Destrade is going to come join me, and we're going to talk all things Rays baseball after what was a series win over the Minnesota Twins this past weekend. And as you see, I'm wearing the old Devil Rays hat today because today is opening day for the Rays, essentially, at least at home. It is the first game back at Tropicana Field since, September 2024. So there's a lot of excitement for this one. The Chicago Cubs coming into town, premier opponent, Shane McClanahan taking to the bump for the first time in almost 3 years at Tropicana Field. We obviously saw him last week make his return to the mound in general against Milwaukee. So sold out crowd from what they're saying today. It was not a cheap ticket to get into Tropicana Field for this first home game of the season. So hope everybody there has a good time. Obviously, hope the Rays bring home a victory. We're going to get into a lot of things, obviously, Rays related when Orestes comes in here. I'm going to do a little surface level discussion here in the first little bit, but we're also going to do, it's April 6th as we sit here today. We're about 20 days out now from the NFL draft. So I think it's probably a good time. We've been talking about it a little bit, but we're full steam ahead now with draft because free agency is basically done. There might be a signing here or there, an older vet signing for the Bucs, but we're pretty much all ready to go for the draft. So I'm going to do a little bit of a Bucs battle plan for this draft. What are the key areas that they need to address? What players should they be targeting? Which players should they stay away from? I definitely have some thoughts on that because, it's mock draft season, and I am very much so a fan of, looking at mock drafts. And I got the mock draft simulators going, and I'm putting in all my things and, making trades and wheeling and dealing and putting together all these things, knowing that in all likelihood, the Bucs are going to do something completely different. That's usually how it always goes. And Jason liked always trying to find the hidden gems from the small schools and things of that nature. So, but there was another mock draft that came out today, a big one over at the Athletics. So I'm going to dive into that. They were predicting every pick in the draft in this one. And there's been some others that I've seen too. Couple players, maybe 2 or 3 who are getting mocked to the Bucs at 15 that I just completely disagree with their philosophy if they went that direction. So I want to get into that. The Lightning clinching a playoff spot for the 9th straight season. No surprise there. We'll get into them a little bit. Tonight, we got the the national championship game after what we saw the Final Four this past weekend. UConn beating Illinois, Michigan absolutely demolishing Arizona. Very much a shocker there between those two amazing teams. But that sets us up for a showdown tonight between UConn and Michigan. And I'll just tell you right now, I know this has been happening for a while, but the 8:40 start time on the Eastern Coast is not for me. It's not for me. I know that us in the Eastern side, we like to think that we take priority. We don't when it comes to these things. So 8:40, it is what it is. It's been going on for a while, but it's certainly going to be a late night watching some basketball. So might get into that a little bit as well. But I'm going to start, though, with the like I said, I want to save some of the stuff for the Rays later with Orestes, but I'm going to address a little bit of stuff here with them off the top, obviously, because they are just wrapping up a 9-game road swing to start the season. And they take 2 out of 3 in Minnesota. They finished 4-5 on this road stretch. And my general takeaway is I'll take it. I'll take it because I'm watching, the Rays play, and I was watching Friday's game in particular, and I was asking myself after that Minnesota game, it's only 7 games at that time, but do the Rays have an identity like anywhere? I couldn't find an identity anywhere with this baseball team. And I was fully expecting after what we saw with Friday and, Kevin Cash sort of just leaving Kevin Kelly in there to die, essentially, and just basically deciding to wave the white flag on that one. I thought it wouldn't be surprising if the Rays got swept in Minnesota. And there was a lot of things going against them, especially the weather. I mean, it was snowing on Saturday, and I know both teams got to play through it, but you're on the back end of a road stretch to start the season. It's cold. You're far away from home. Naturally, I thought there would be a little bit of a letdown there, and I thought the Rays were probably going to get swept because I think that's just the way it was going. They were not playing great defense. The bullpen was an abject disaster. The lineup, for the most part, had been fine, but those 2 other things were outweighing so much of the other stuff. So I was expecting that. But the Rays, give them credit. They get a big win on Saturday that they needed. And then yesterday, going into extras, and Richie Palacios, of all people, hitting an absolute no-doubter. Did not see that coming. Did not know Richie had that in his bag, if I'm being completely honest with you. And he had been struggling a big time to start the season. But that was a big, big hit for him yesterday. The bullpen, the last 2 games, we'll take it. We will absolutely take it. 2 perfect games in a row for the bullpen. That's what they needed to sort of stop the bleeding, because going into Saturday's game, and I think it still holds true today, even after the 2 outings back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday, but were perfect, they still have the worst bullpen ERA in the majors right now, I believe. I think that still holds true. And if you look at team ERA in general, the Rays are down in 23rd, which we know is not their identity. It's not what they aim to be, and they're quite frankly not going to go anywhere if it remains that same. But I mean, it's early; these things are going to work themselves out. Now they're going to get back home inside the Trop, which is sort of what they're built for, if we're being honest. And I think they expect that as well. So I think you're going to start to see these things potentially, even themselves out. But still, I think given the way they played, the errors they made, Junior Caminero just being quite frankly, a disaster over there at third base defensively. And he's never been a great defender. I think we knew that. I think he made some strides as the season went on last year. And I think people were expecting him to be, pretty decent this year, but it has just not been a good start for him over at third. There's no doubt about that. But the good thing for Junior Caminero is he was able to get his first home run of the season last night. Junior Caminero, only 9 games into the season, has only had 1 home run and 1 RBI. Like, that's really insane when you think about it. And that's why I say I'll take it. It's like the Rays they either lead the league in errors or they're right up there. They are one of the worst. They are the worst bullpen ERA in baseball. Your star hitter, who has no protection in this lineup, has 1 home run and 1 RBI, and you're able to go 9 games to start on the road and go 4-5. And by the way, to the point about Caminero not really being a big time contributor in the lineup so far, what if I told you, I looked at this morning, the Rays are number 1 in the American League, or number 2 in the American League, rather, in hits. Like, that's where we are. I think we were all concerned about the lineup going into the season, and I think rightfully so. We had some of those concerns. It's early. We all know that. We always got to put that in there. But the Rays got 86 hits so far through 9 games. Only the Houston Astros, who have 98, they're number 1 in all of the big leagues. So the Rays are number 2 in the American League in hits. They only have 8 home runs on the season, the Rays do, which is among the least amount in the entire league. And they're still finding a way to score more than 5 runs a game. So I think that's sort of like the encouraging things. If you're trying to look at the optimistic side of it, is your star player has really not been a main contributor into what you're doing on offense so far. And you've been as good as any offense really in the league so far to start the season. I mean, that's an honest truth. And the starting pitching for the Rays, as much as their bullpen has been really bad to start the season, the starting pitching for the Rays, I think, has been excellent. I think it's been excellent. And, I have to eat some crow because I was among those who was freaking out about Nick Martinez and spring training and how much of that was going to carry over into the season. And they signed him to $13 million. And we made fun of the fact that, that's the highest paid player that they've paid in free agency. And it's Nick Martinez, and it's a 35-year-old, meh starting pitcher, I guess. But two really good outings for Nick Martinez to start the season. Steven Matz, another guy who they brought in, a veteran lefty. He was great on Saturday. He was fantastic. So, and he's had two really good starts in a row. Rasmussen's been good. McClanahan, we'll see him go later today. He fell apart there, obviously, in that fifth inning against Milwaukee, but the stuff I think before that looks really good. It's kind of what you want. And Joe Boyle, again, really got a bad draw on Friday night. I thought his stuff looked really good. And Pepio's hurt. So the rotation looks great. The hitting looks great. We just got to figure out this bullpen, and we got to figure out this defense. And I think there's a big step to fixing the defensive side of this team is coming today, because right before I got on the air, it was announced that Taylor Walls has been activated off the 10-day injured list with his right oblique strain that he had that kept him out for the first 9 games of the season. Carson Williams optioned to AAA Durham. And there you go. So Taylor Walls, he's been on this team, at least on the major league roster, since 2021. Sort of hard to believe that he's lasted this long. But why is he? The fact, even though he's a 195 career hitter, because we all know it, the guy he's the best defensive shortstop in the entire league, probably. And he's one of the best overall defenders in the entire league. And if you paid attention to watching the Rays when he's not out there, especially for extended periods of time, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Carson Williams, I think this was a good shot for Carson to, make an impression and maybe show management and show Kevin Cash that he has earned a right to be up here with the big league club. And even if Taylor Walls came back from injury, Carson theoretically was hitting well and was doing well at short, and he could stay up with the big league club. But I think any bit of hope that would happen, it went away there in that last game against Milwaukee. There's just too many plays, especially on a Friday against Minnesota as well. He misplayed a grounder. It's just too many plays that Taylor Walls, he makes in his sleep. And Carson Williams struggling big time out there. And it's not like he's done much at the plate, to be honest with you. I think he showed some stuff in St. Louis, but in Minnesota and Milwaukee, you got nothing from Carson Williams. He's 3 for 23 at the plate to start the season. We've talked about the strikeouts. He's got 9 strikeouts. Only Cedric Mullins has more on the team. And if you even go back to WAR, he is a negative 0.3 WAR player. That is second worst only to Cedric Mullins, who was a negative 0.5. So it's been a rough go for Carson Williams. But I think we kind of figured this. He is far from a polished product. The strikeouts are a real concern. I think even more so than I thought. The defensive stuff at short is a big concern from him. So he's going to go down to AAA. And with the way Ben Williamson has been playing as that sort of ultra utility guy, and the fact that Gavin Lux seems like he's right around the corner, I don't know if you're going to see Carson Williams for a while, unless obviously there's an injury or something like that. I think he probably needs a lot of work down in AAA based on what we saw. And it's going to be the Taylor Walls show at short. I know. But again, the defense, you can't argue it. It means everything to this team and where they are right now. So hopefully the Rays have a better output. And again, going back to the Trop, I think that should help them a lot too with where they're going. I'm going to get in some comments here from Alejandro Noriega. Good morning to you. Opening day is here, and it feels so good to be back at the Trop. And hope Sugar Shane has a great start. Let's go Rays, and let's hopefully beat the Cubs today and win our first series at home. Go Rays. Absolutely love the positivity there. I think it's a big deal, being back at the Trop. And I think anybody that's listened to this show, obviously we've talked about that stadium at nauseum. And for all the jokes you want to make about it, and for the people that have, never been to the stadium and from the outside, want to say about it, I think the Trop, as Raves fans, Tampa Bay natives, there's something about it where it's like, we understand it's not perfect, but it's ours, it's ours. And Steinbrenner was fun last year. I enjoyed going out to those games, getting a chance to see outdoor baseball in the regular season. It was really hot. We knew that was going to happen, and a lot of people are excited. They got this thing kind of built back together or refurbished, whatever you want to call it, and got the panels in there. Like, they did a lot of work to this place to get this thing ready to go for today, and I think they deserve to be commended for that. So it looks pretty good from the pictures that I saw. Like, we got the new banners over in left field. I'll tell you that right now. The new banners, from what I saw, Topkin put out the photo the other day. They look light years better than the previous banners. Not even close. They also seem to have taken away the wild card stuff, and thank you. Like, we don't need to be celebrating wild card appearances, getting bounced in the wild card game. We don't need any of that. So that stuff looks good. The field looks good. I know a lot of the luxury areas have been upgraded, so it should be fun. I think when people first walk back in there for the first game this season and they kind of take it back in, I think it's not necessarily a thing of like, oh, we're falling back in love with it, but it's just like, again, it's ours. We're back home. We're back to where this team is their permanent home for now. And I think that that's going to be a pretty good atmosphere today. And I see a lot of the excitement coming in. Good morning to you, Devin Garnett. Good morning. All Petermans are welcome to my tailgate in Lot 6. Free hot dogs and burgers, BYOB. Love to see that. Alex Nunn, good morning to you. A couple big wins for the Rays. Absolutely. Jeremy Lowe, the return of the Trop tonight. LFG. Absolutely. Let's effing go. Good morning to you, Nathan Elliott, Nick Big Daddy Geddes. Is that my name now? Is that what you're going? Is that what I'm going by? I see you always every Monday coming in here, call me Big Daddy, but I appreciate it. That's just, yeah, I appreciate it, Nathan. Thank you so much. Hunter Tubbs 251 says, "Don't go to Fergs." I know that's the controversy right now. Is, do people go to Fergs after the stunt that they pulled, I guess, 2 weeks ago with their Wrigleyville South that they have ended up going back on? So I don't know. Go where you want to go. But yeah, I think a lot of people probably agree with you on that one. Javier 900,000. Nick, what's your thoughts on, for the last 2 years, TKO ruining the WWE main event with Cody Cena and now Cody Orton? This McAfee stuff is just bad. Well, I'm glad you asked, because I was hoping I could maybe steal a little. I know not everybody's a wrestling fan, but obviously it's WrestleMania season, and there's things happening there in that whole company that I'm not a fan of. And so you brought this up, and for the background of it, we have the Cody Rhodes John Cena, or Cody Rhodes Randy Orton rather, main event for WrestleMania this year. And they've been playing this angle out on TV where Randy Orton is talking to this mystery person on a phone, reminding them that he's a killer and everything. And they were supposed to have the reveal on Friday, and everybody tuned in. We're waiting for it, and it ends up being Pat McAfee of all people. And Pat McAfee gets in the ring, and he hits the low blow on Mr. Cody Rhodes, and then cuts some bizarre promo talking about how the ticket sales are bad, and this isn't the same era that I grew up on, and blah, 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 blah. And it was just really bizarre. Pat McAfee does not belong in the main event story between two of the biggest stars in the company, the same way Travis Scott did not belong in the main event of WrestleMania last year between two of the biggest stars in the company, and then The Rock also playing in the background, but not really, because he didn't want to show up after that. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, that's 2 years in a row where celebrities are taking over the main event of the biggest show of the year. And I'm not a fan, and I don't think really anybody is a fan. So yeah, my excitement levels for this year's Mania. I mean, the card looks good on paper from, I guess, an in-ring standpoint, but I think I want to see the stories play out in the middle of the ring. And I think the stories, they're all over the place. They're lacking, or there's just way too much time between the Rumble and Mania, and I think things get really stale, and I think that's happened. So appreciate the question. Wanted to get that in there for sure. Nathan Elliott says, we'll be at Fergs for our NFL pre-draft party on April 23rd. All are invited. Love to see it. Jason Martinez commenting on the the wrestling stuff there. What if McAfee is a manager Heyman type of role for a new faction? Yeah, I mean, this was the first night. This was the reveal. I think emotions are high because there were so many different names thrown out there for that reveal, and then it's Pat McAfee. And it's nothing, it's Pat. Like, I'm not like, there's a lot of people that don't really like Pat, like in regards to like sports media and stuff. I'm not one of them. I think he's really good at what he does. I think he's a little overexposed potentially, but that's a problem for a lot of guys on that network. But it's just, I'm willing to like wait it out, I guess, and see if like there's somebody above Pat that's like pulling the strings on this story. But I'm not really holding out hope right now because their track record, I think, is not great. But you know what? There was a lot of negative reaction to everything that happened on Monday. So maybe they go into a different direction and try to pivot. But yeah, not an initial good start, I think, for based on what we saw on Friday there. All right, I'm gonna do my Bucs battle plan now before we hit our first break. So I'm gonna switch over to Bucs stuff here. We got the draft coming up pretty soon, and I guess one of my complaints that I wanted to get out today is, it's mock draft season, and everybody has these things, and I suppose all these guys that put out this stuff on ESPN or The Athletic or Sports Illustrated, whoever's doing these mocks things, like they always say like this is like based on intel that they're learning around the league and everything. And there just seems to be like 3 names that keep getting thrown out for the Bucs at 15. And for me, these 3 names I think would be like, they're off my board. Or one of them is maybe on my board, but the other 2 are just they're off my board. Number 1 is Keldrick Falk, who I mentioned earlier. We had the Athletic mock today, and they have him going to the Bucs at 15. I haven't found a single, like, anytime that happens in one of these mocks where it has the Bucs taking Keldrick Falk, I see like consensusly every Bucs fan just completely panning it. Like, absolutely not. And I think that's the right way. Like, Keldrick Falk, to me, if you're talking worst case scenario, what the Bucs could do at that pick, I would rather them take another receiver at 15 than take Keldrick Falk. I just don't see it with this guy at all. I don't see it. I know he's very young, and in hindsight, there's a lot of potential ahead of him, but I don't see the ability as a pass rusher. I think from a size standpoint, he's like kind of in between an edge rusher and an interior defensive lineman, but I don't think he's good enough at either to be a standout player. I don't get the first round hype on this guy at all. I don't even know if I'd take him in the second round. Like, I'm super, super low on Keldrick Falk, but yet a lot of these guys in the national media who maybe just don't know enough about the Bucs just seem to think that Keldrick Falk could be that pick. And I don't think that's going to happen. But if that happened, I think based on everything that Bucs fans have been through this offseason, a Keldrick Falk selection at 15, I think would be the final straw. And that would be a crazy 24 hours after. I don't think they're going to do that, but that was worth mentioning. The second player that is mentioned a lot to the Bucs at 15 is Akeem Mesidor. And it's not that I'm questioning the talent of Akeem Mesidor. I think the talent is obvious. Like, when I watched, all the Miami games this year, I thought he actually was more noticeable than Ruben Bain. And Ruben Bain's going to be a top 5, top 10 pick. It just, 12.5 sacks this past season, 17.5 tackles for loss. Like, just wanted to get that in there. The production was crazy. You could see it watching all the games. 25 years old in the first round. It's just too much for me. Like, you can say, like, in theory, like, he's more pro ready than maybe all the other guys, and he can step right in and be an impact player. Sure. I don't think it always goes down that way. My other reason, or my other suggestion there for, 25 years old in the first round, why did it take you so long to get here? And not trying to downplay what he did at Miami last year, but when you're 24 years old and you're playing in college football, like in the ACC, which is not a great conference for football, obviously, like I hope you would dominate. I hope you would. So I like Mesidor, and he's kind of a converted defensive lineman, become an edge rusher. But 25 years old in the first round, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And as Nathan Elliott is pointing out here, Mesidor is a chancy pick, foot problems. College players will play through injury. NFL, he will be on the bench, and IR, you heard it here first. Hopefully he has, obviously, an injury-free career, but it's just the age. I just can't get past it. Some people can, and that's fine, but I personally am not one of them. 25 years old with the 15th overall pick is it's a little too rich for me. It's a little too rich for me. I would love it. Like if he's in the second round, that'd be great. That's not going to happen because, quite frankly, I think his tape matches up with among the best in the class. But it's an age thing for me, just being an ageist. The third pick, this is the third guy who is mocked most commonly to the Bucs here that I wanted to touch on, is Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. And let me preface this with, I think there is a lot of value in having a star tight end in the league, a true receiving threat. And I think Sadiq, while I love a lot of the tight ends in this class, and I think it's really deep, I do think Sadiq is in a tier of his own. And in terms of like, if you were doing first round grades on guys, because not everybody that goes in the first round has a first round grade on them. There's usually like 12 of 15 of these guys. Sadiq is one of them. And he's not just a pass catching threat. He's a really good blocker. The guy is as strong as to be. He's a great athlete. He checks every box for the tight end position. But given what the Bucs, where they're at right now, what they did do and what most importantly they did not do in free agency and through trade so far ahead of the draft, does anybody really think investing a top 15 pick in a tight end is the best use of that asset right now? I'm open to discussion, of course, but you already paid Cade Otton, and I've said Cade is a fine, capable tight end. He's going to do a solid job for you. He's not going to set the world on fire. He's going to have some moments like we saw last year where you're like, what the F is he doing? I would have been fine with the Bucs letting him walk and saving the $10 million per and $30 million over the life of the contract. And if then you wanted to take Sadiq in the first round, sure, by all means. But I just don't know. Like tight end at 15 when you're dying for an edge rusher and you're dying for a linebacker, because all that does is you just continue to like push that problem off into the draft. And I understand, best player available, that's when it gets tricky, because what if Kenyon Sadiq is the best player available and the edge market doesn't exactly look great for 15? And linebacker, even like the CJ Allen, who I love a lot and I'm comfortable taking him at 15, is that too rich for the Bucs? I think in general, the play here, if we're talking about battle plan, if Jason Light can find a way to get out of pick 15 and move into the back half of the first round, I think that would be the ideal scenario at this point. Gather some more picks somewhere, in that like 22 to 28 range. Like, I think you're getting a very similar player to what you would get at 15. And I think it brings like some other, guys who may be rich for 15. It brings them back into play at that time where you would feel comfortable. I think that would be the move. The issue there is I think every GM ideally would want to move back. So it's all going to depend how it goes down that night. But that would be the dream scenario for me, is the Bucs move down from 15 and then they're able to select like a CJ Allen or someone like that, or, some of the other edge guys who I think might sneak into the back half of the first round. I think 15 is probably too high for them. But if the Bucs slid back into the back half of the first round, I think that opens you up for the Mason Thomas discussion, the edge rusher from Oklahoma. I'm not being biased, but I think that opens you up to the Malachi Lawrence discussion from UCF. 15 again for both of those guys is probably too high, but I think that's sort of where I'm at though on as we stand right now and where they should go. But I just wanted to get off those three players there: Sadiq, Mesidor, and Falk. Those are the three that I would be a little bit sketchy for me taking them at 15, all for three different reasons, but those are the three most commonly mocked players to the Bucs. In fact, I honestly haven't seen a mock draft at this point in the last month that doesn't have one of those three players going to the Bucs at 15. Like, I haven't seen it. The one player too, before I hit break, that I would say is probably a sleeper pick at 15. If they stay there and they go true BPA, best player available, would be Olavega-Ione. I think that would be the one player where if they just stuck to whatever board they had and they said, okay, best player available, we don't like an edge here, we don't feel comfortable taking a linebacker here, Sadiq is gone, or that we don't want to take a tight end at 15, and we can't move out of the pick, there's not enough interest, we don't see a deal to be made, what do we do? I don't hate this selection of Olavega-Ione, the guard from Penn State. This guy has got future Pro Bowler written all over him. I think he is far and away, the best guard in this draft. And you might be thinking to yourself, like, do the Bucs really need a guard? Well, the Bucs just had a season where they were ravaged by injuries on the offensive line, and they were forced to have to bring out Dan Feeney off the street and Michael Jordan off the street. And I don't think anybody would tell you that was ideal. I don't think Elijah Klein has gotten anywhere at this point, 3 years in, where he's a part of anything. I know they worked out Kenyon Green, on Saturday, or I think they're bringing him in. It was reported Saturday they're bringing him for a workout. Okay, whatever. That doesn't stop you from taking a potential Pro Bowl player at 15. Ben Bredesen is on a short-term deal. Cody Mauch is coming off a serious leg injury. And Graham Barton, this is a big year for him. So I'm just saying, I think it's a very underrated or sort of under the radar sort of selection. And possibility is if Ione's there and they think he's best player available, and I have no reason to think they wouldn't, do you just rip the pick there? Because for me, Ione might be a top 12 player in the draft. Like that's kind of where I am at him. But show me your thoughts in the comments if you agree, if you disagree. Again, I'm open to any discussion, absolutely. And I'll hit this comment before I go to break from Nathan Elliott. Kenyon Sadiq is a stud. I do not see him falling to the Bucs at 15. He would have to learn the playbook fast. He would have to be a beast blocker to unseat Cade Otton. Yeah, and he is a really good blocker. He's a much better blocker coming out of college than Cade Otton was. Cade has had to work at that. But as a receiving threat, I think there's no doubt that Kenyon Sadiq offers more upside in your offense than Cade Otton. But there's also been a lot of talk, if this is why I'm not completely out on Sadiq, is the whole stuff about, Zach Robinson using 12 personnel, the 2 tight end sets. And, right now, if you go 12 personnel at tight end, you're running it with who? Cade Otton and Payne Durham. Like, I'm open. I want them to address tight end in this draft. I think they need to get an upgrade over a Payne Durham. Devin Culp, I think, has some promise. I don't know if they really believe in him enough, to be honest with you. Cove keeps it's what he is. Like, I would like to see them get another tight end in this draft. I just don't know if it's going to happen at a 15. All right, I'm going to hit a break here. And when we come back, I am going to wrap up a little bit of stuff on the Bucs. I'm going to hit some of your comments. Feel free to chime in as well on anything you disagreed with. It is opening day here at the Trop for the Rays. A lot of excitement. If you're going to the game, let me know. Love to hear it. And seems like we got a lot of tailgates happening up here from y'all in the comments. So that's good stuff. So we will be back in 3 with more Tampa Bay sports talk. See you soon.
Pitch Roofing believes giving back is part of doing business the right way. That's why they proudly offer exclusive discounts to those who gave the most to our communities, including veterans, first responders, seniors, and teachers. And for listeners of the JP Peterson Show, there's even more good news. Pitch Roofing is now offering a special discount just for fans of the show. With so many roofing companies coming and going in Florida, it's important to choose a contractor you can count on long after the job is done, especially when it comes to honoring your warranty. Pitch Roofing is built for the long haul with a reputation for quality, transparency, and standing behind their work. Whether it's a repair or a full replacement, their team delivers honest guidance, quality workmanship, and no high-pressure sales. Call 727-67-PITCH, 727-677-4824, or visit pitchroofing.com to schedule a free estimate.
Pitch Roofing, roofing done right.
As the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana Field home this season that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind us all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and the right coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, over $500 on our homeowners insurance. They can do the same for you. That's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Cost less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with our all-star agents at Italiano Insurance, or call our Boca Grande office at 941-964-0400. Hey guys, you already know that Riveters is the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay, but now it gets even better for Rays baseball season. During all Rays games, check this out, $6 Tito's, $6 Jack, $6 margaritas, all during Rays games. Are you kidding me? And that's always a great pour from the great bartenders at Riveters. Great service, great food, everything is fresh, nothing is frozen. And let me tell you, if you want baseball and wings, you will not find any better than Riveters. Their sauces, like the blue cheese and the ranch and everything, is handmade, and the wings are big and they're perfect. Wings, baseball, Rays, Riveters. It all comes together during baseball season. Once again, in addition to all the great food and service, you get $6 Tito's, $6 Jacks, $6 margaritas. It's time to celebrate. Baseball season is back, and celebrate at Riveters. You know where it is, right there on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of the stadium. See you there at Riveters. It's Diamond Days at the Golden Diamond Source. Celebrate April's birthstone, which is diamonds, as they take center stage. Up to 20% off the diamond jewelry throughout the month of April. And don't forget, you could trade in your broken or old jewelry towards something new and beautiful. Gold prices are at a record high. Now is the best time. And by the way, they only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source. It's real love. It should be real natural diamonds. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Really, really bad idea. And for the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyers, they are going to teach you all about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. They are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And by the way, you can trust them. They've been in business for over 40 years. Don't buy something online. You have no idea what you're getting. 0% financing for up to 5 years. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond. 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at goldendiamond.com. Hey, JP here for Genesis of Tampa and the Murphy Auto Group. I think the best way to experience a business is to use that business. And I just did at Genesis of Tampa. Just bought a GV70, a 2023, and it feels and drives all new. It's an absolutely fantastic car. The technology, the comfort, and the price, absolutely outstanding. Frankly, I never thought I could get into a car like this, but they made me a deal I could not refuse. And I also get the VIP service where you can just drive right up, their pit stop service. They'll top off all the fluids, make sure your air in your tires is good, new wipers if you want them. If you need extended service, they will come to you, bring you a courtesy car, and then bring your car back. What more do you want? The experience was just VIP all the way. And you can get that at Genesis of Tampa. And don't forget, you can get extended warranty, which I did. So I have worry-free miles up to 100,000, and all they do is just take it in. Actually, I don't have to take it in. They come to me. It's perfect. It's Genesis of Tampa right there, 801 East Bears Avenue, right off of 275. Go see them and tell them JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back on this welcome or return to the Trop. I don't know what we're calling it yesterday. We're returning back to the Trop today. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. With that being said, I want to remind you guys, as the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana Field home that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind you all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, and $500 on our homeowners. That's a grand slam, guys. So might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That is a lift. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. That is 813-877-7799 or over at italianoinsurance.com. All right, rolling through here. A little comment here from the Bucs discussion from David Melnick. Good morning to you. Bucs will make a big mistake taking Keldrick Falk. Jeremy Lowe saying Falk is 2.0. And Danny Boy Kane saying Mesidor will be a star in the league. I could see it. Yeah, I love the talent of Mesidor. I think that there's no getting around that. But it just depends if you're comfortable taking 25 years old at 15. I think that's all what it comes down to. Nathan Elliott, I know you've been on this train for a while, talking about the need to take a defensive tackle at 15 and Caden McDonald being the player. Caden McDonald to be the long-term successor to Vita Vea would be interesting. I don't think there's any like Vita obviously can provide something as a pass rusher. I don't see that currently with McDonald. I think this defensive line class in general is pretty weak. Jason said that at the combine, and given by the fact that they gave Ashawn Robinson $10 million and then they just brought back Rakeem Nunez-Roches, they seem to be kind of telling you how they feel about that room or that class, because then you also still have Elijah Roberts on the roster and Elijah Simmons from last year. So the Bucs already have 6 interior defensive linemen on their roster. So I don't know if they're going to be investing a top pick into that position. I personally, I'm a Caleb Banks fan. He's going to be one of the more polarizing players because of the injury history. And I want to say it right now, I'm not advocating for it at 15 or anything like that. But I think that dude, if he hits, could be I think he's got truthfully, all pro potential with Caleb Banks, but there's just a lot unknown there. It's a lot unknown there. So other than that, I don't think the defensive line class, there's just not much there that gets me excited. And he says, I like the 2026 free agent defensive tackle moves. Robinson, Roches, and Roberts are all backups at this time. They need a guy. I mean, I know how you feel, Nathan, about Kalijah. I know that, he's never on the field, and that's a big thing. That's what makes it difficult to evaluate the position, is because when he's on the field, he's immensely important to what they want to do. And when he was off of it last year, I think you saw the impact of him not being there next to Vita Vea. So I feel you. I understand. I think that room could be better maybe behind those two, but I don't think it's going to happen in this draft. Jeremy, or I'll go at Chris Cole here. Guard is the only offensive player, or I guess that would be guard is the only offensive player I would pick at 15. It could probably get him trading down. Yeah, you might be able to. I think a lot of people don't like taking guards in the top 15, although we're probably going to see a running back go in the top 5 this year. So I don't know. It's like a bugaboo or something. We can't take guards in the top 15, even though a lot of the elite ones come from there. But yeah, you might be right. You might be able to trade down and get him, but I like the player a lot. Love him a lot. Jeremy Lowe says, got to go with Mesidor at 15 if the Bucs can't trade down. Rodriguez in the second. Might have to trade up to get Rod in the second. He's talking about Jacob Rodriguez, obviously. doesn't it feel like every team's fan base like wants Jacob Rodriguez? Like, obviously every Bucs fan wants Jacob Rodriguez, but I feel like every team's fan base wants this guy because, the talent obviously speaks for itself, and he's just a very smart player. He's got a great story. Like, everything around him just feels like he's going to be a really, really solid player for a long time. I don't know if he's going to be, necessarily like a Pro Bowl type guy at that position, but I don't think there's a high chance of like bust when it comes to Jacob Rodriguez. And whereas I thought before that you could get him at 46 potentially, I think as we get closer to this process, I think he's going to go higher. I think he's going to go higher. It kind of reminds me of like Carson Schlesinger, for example, from last year. And like Schlesinger was like not getting talked about the same way of like a Jihad Campbell, for example, coming out of Alabama, and he was coming out of UCLA, obviously. And he ended up going, I think, with like the first or second pick in the second round, and he ended up being, I think, the defensive rookie of the year this year, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's kind of what's going to happen with Jacob Rodriguez, is you're going to get to like pick 33, 34, 35, and they're going to be like, oh, he's there, and he's probably going to be a really, known commodity, and he's going to come off the board there. So I don't think he's an option at 46 at this time for the Bucs. I think he's going to go earlier. All right, we're joined here now by the great Orestes Destrade. I'm going to try to get you on camera here. See if we can fix this thing.
My ugly mug on there?
Yeah, we'll see what we could do here. How you doing?
I'm good. Is it that one or this one, maybe?
Here, you use those.
No, but I'm saying as far as you got me on. I'm on. Okay.
Yeah, you might have to use those headphones. I don't know.
I am.
Yeah. All right.
Do I got Hamon on there? Is he there?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on. You guys can hear Orestes okay? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna try working on getting you up here on the stream. Is it this one here? There we go.
1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Yeah,
Got
there
it.
you go. Got me?
Yes, sir. Got you now. There we go. All right, a little different sitting in this seat.
Yeah, no,
sitting in that seat.
Yeah, no, but you're running it.
Like
man.
this morning, I got in here and like I didn't get here earlier than I wanted to because you're learning lessons as you get older. And one of them is pump your gas go to the gas station at night. Don't go in the morning.
That's true.
During rush hour.
These days, and people are trying to find the cheapest one available. That is definitely something that you may want to think about the night before. Yeah, you get in the car in the morning and like even if you're running, and I got the baby at home now, so you don't get out of the house. How old is the baby?
She's 8 weeks old. Now.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Congratulations!
So
Let me give you a fist bump for that.
But
your first one, right?
First one, yeah.
God bless you.
So you don't get out of the house on time ever.
No, dude.
You don't have it.
No.
And so I got in the car this morning and I was like, money.
And I got to tell you something. As a parent of 4. You're not a real parent yet. I mean, you're enjoying a baby. You're a real parent when you get the two kids. Then you have to juggle. Then the juggling act becomes. And one is 3 and one is 1. And you and your wife are gonna have a fun time.
I heard once we get into movement a little bit.
Yeah, then it gets tricky.
Then it gets fun.
Yeah, you can control them now.
Yeah.
To some degree, they control you too.
Right.
No, but it's a beautiful thing. Congratulations.
Thank
you got
you.
a baby girl, boy?
Girl.
What's her name?
Collins.
Ah, man. God bless. That's a sweet name.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, listen, make her I don't think I have to question whether you're going to make her a sports fan or not. You're going to push that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nikki knows sports.
All right, let's get into the I touched in a surface level a little bit on the Rays earlier, but today obviously we're returning back to the Trop. It's a big day. Shane McClanahan going to the bump to his first time pitching in the Trop in almost 3 years.
Right.
And I mean, initially going in, I feel like there's a lot of it. This is a regular season game, but it is, there's some pomp and circumstance to it. You're going to have the pennants all over the place.
Sure.
You're going to get the introduction. So just initially, how big at this moment for you, this going back to the Trop and what this signifies?
Well, it's a myriad of things. And really, firstly, it's got to start with the city of St. Pete and the Tampa Bay community, okay? Because they went through something dramatic that not only cost them a season last year to have to play somewhere else, but also
It cost jobs. It was a complicated scenario for them to get this back to where it is. The reality is that this was a work effort, not just by the Rays, but by the whole community. So I applaud, firstly, the city of St. Pete, the municipalities, the hardworking people that make this come about after 561 days of not being able to play a baseball game over there. The celebration and the pomp and circumstance begins there, Nick. And thankfully, from what I'm hearing, the Rays are going to honor several hundred of those workers before the game, rightfully so. So they're very cognizant, as the ownership group that we've already seen, of only being here less than 6 months, 5 months plus, are very aware of that plight and that effort, and they're appreciative of it. So that is beautiful. This is a glorious time to celebrate. Then you have Shane McClanahan back on the mound. So it's almost like fitting, Nikki, that you have this kind of potentially historic that could go down if he continues his career where he left off as one of the greatest pitchers. He may go down as the greatest Rays pitcher of all time, but right now definitely he's in the mix of top 10, right? And we've had some great ones. I'm going to tell you how many Cy Young winners that and all-stars that we've had, come and pitch on that mound at Tropicana Field. So the fact that he's making this comeback, it's so like apropos, right? That you've got this kind of unison of we're back at the Trop. Shane McClanahan's back at the Trop. I think they've done a great job with Shane McClanahan as far as how they've kind of navigated him through this comeback. First of all, he had to be healthy, right? Came back healthy after not one but two major issues that cost him, 2.5 years. What have they done? Hey, he pitched in Milwaukee in a climate-controlled situation, right? Because they have the dome, so he didn't have to pitch in the inclement weathers of like a Minnesota. He comes back to the Trop. He's going to pitch in that climate control, not only a climate control, but a stadium that he knows very well. He'll have another start this coming weekend in the Trop again against one of our biggest rivals, the Yankees. So I think they're treating Shane McClanahan properly, and it's giving him every opportunity to succeed. The next level of that is you've got players that haven't even ever played at the Trop. You know what I mean? You've got quite a few guys like Chandler Simpson's never played, isn't that weird that we've been saying that name now for 2 years? Well, let's not say 2 years, because last year he didn't even play a full season, but 2 calendar years that we're mentioning Chandler Simpson, he's yet to play there. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be getting their first looks and their first taste of the Trop. So I'm excited to see these guys. They're going to appreciate the pomp and circumstance. I can go all the way back to 93 for me in an opening day, April 5th, at Joe Robbie Stadium, and being a Miami Rays Cuban-born guy, how impactful all that is when you just look at everything that's going on. But then you got to get into the game, and I think it's going to be an exciting game. Oh, by the way, you got a Chicago Cubs team that is also 4-5, limping in, not super aggressively offensively, but definitely, holding down the fort with their strong pitching, staff. So, and the fact that it's just a storied team. How neat. I'm not going to download, the teams that aren't as storied, let's say, or didn't have that big boy history of well over 100 years like the Cubs have, but yet it's the Cubs, and they have fandom throughout the nation, throughout the world. So it's kind of a neat coming all together for this opening day, April 6th of 2026.
Yeah, and they've rolled out the red carpet. Like when I saw last night that Eric Church is going to be doing the national anthem. That? And for those who aren't country people, like country music people, that is, I mean, he's He's a really big name.
I don't even think you got to be a country fan to know.
Yeah, I think everybody at this point knows who Eric Church is. But I mean,
this is an incredible voice.
This is a Grammy Award level artist. So I was like, wow, the Rays pulled that. I didn't see that coming. And then I think throwing out the first pitch, I think it's Mayor Jane Castor and then Mayor Ken Welch. It's
okay, so they're doing a tandem.
They're doing the tandem there, which I think is pretty cool.
Know that. Okay,
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. You know why? Because again, it's bridging, and rightfully so. That this is Tampa Bay's team.
Right.
It's never going to just be Tampa's team. It never was just St. Pete's team. This is Tampa Bay's team, and we have to lean into that.
Yeah, and that's what I said earlier about like the return is, a lot on this show we've talked a lot about the Trop, and I said it's not perfect. I think we all acknowledge that it has its many flaws to it, like anything, obviously, and quirks for sure.
Rafters.
Yeah, I don't think any player is going to openly tell you, maybe other than maybe some pitchers are like, I'm so excited to be, that's my number one place. But for a fan, somebody who's been here, you've just always grown up with it. It's ours.
Yes.
And it has a certain feel to it, when you walk in there and, it's 72 degrees, like it's nice. We get it. And I think some of the upgrades look good. So I'm looking forward to it today. I'm trying to get out to a game as soon as possible here. I can't go today.
Right.
For opening day. It was an expensive ticket, by the way, to get in but I understand. First game back, premier opponent. So should be a good time. I want to hit a break here, and then we come back. We're going to jump into what we've seen from the Rays, especially coming off this past weekend.
1 week review, baby.
Yeah, we'll do a full 1 week review here with Orestes Destrade. So we will take a break. Stay with us. We will be back in 3.
Well, the folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC want to say thanks for making them so dadgum busy. Of course, advertising on your favorite Tampa Bay sports talk show helps, but it's their incredible customer service, honesty, and integrity that have earned them tons of 5-star reviews. And now you could be part of the team at Third Generation. Yes, they are so slammed, they need to hire more certified AC technicians and plumbers. It's a great family business to work for. My buddy John Rodriguez runs an old school family business since 1995. They pay well, give you all the holidays off, and they offer great benefits. No cold corporate atmosphere here. You're part of the family. If this sounds cool to you, call them and apply at 813-961-8024, or you can email your resume in at thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Just go to the website, you'll see the button, email them, or call them at 813-961-8024. And don't forget about the $169 yearly maintenance special. It's a no-brainer, guys. thirdgenerationplumbing.com, and they also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Grouper Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the JP Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. fanstreamsports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream, fanstreamsports.com.
Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back here to a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. JP up over in Colorado.
Having a good old time. He sent me a picture with his buddies.
He's having a great time.
He's having a great time, loving Colorado crisp weather. Then he's going off to Augusta. This is like JP Peterson week. God bless him. He deserves it. I'm going to tell you right now, that dude works hard. Mm-hmm. He really does. You know it, Nick. I know it. Timmy Ham, who also works hard, knows it. They keep this thing rolling. The Petermans love him. He's built such an incredible support and following, rightfully so, because he really brings the hammer. And I've always said that JP not only brings great presence on the air as a broadcaster, but he also, people forget that he's a very schooled research journalist. So what he brings is a duality, and then he's also learned, the goings on of running a talented sports channel.
Yeah, and it is no easy.
Yeah, here you are trying to master that, right, youngster?
I know. I run the show and everything, but I'm like, I don't know what it is. I sit in a different seat, and now I'm like,
everything's like
everything's backwards, and I'm thinking about it, and it's been a while since I've done it. So,
well, you're gonna get it, man. You're extremely talented yourself, and I know JP and I know myself are very appreciative of having Nicky Numbers on here.
All right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's go more in depth on the Rays. So we have a 4-5 start to the season. My thought when I first jumped into it earlier today was, I'll take it, because I don't think the Rays have played anywhere near their best baseball. I don't think they're playing their brand of baseball that they want to be either.
Nope.
And life as a big leaguer, playing a 9-game road stretch far away from home, then to start the season, you got to play in snow on Saturday.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different moving parts there, and being able to end it on a high note was strong. But give me some of your observations from what you've seen.
I think you hit a lot there, that they're not playing Rays baseball. Rays baseball. And not just Rays baseball, when you just say that moniker kind of on a generalization. This really needs to be Rays baseball this season, because they really have to lean on quality at bats, great defense, and clutch performances on the mound. And so far, defense terrible, mainly by one guy who's.
I was going to say, I think going into yesterday's game, I want to say that if you accounted for Junior's errors, the Rays were dead last in baseball.
Right.
If you took just his away, they were like 12th.
Right.
So, I mean, but it all matters. Right?
It all matters because they were costly. His errors have, he's made 6 and a couple of 3 of them have been, led to runs. So that's kind of, but again, an anomaly. Their pitching woes has strictly been in the bullpen side. Again, I feel an anomaly because I think they're way more talented. Griffin Jax is way more talented than he's shown. Early season jitters, early seasons, this and that. I mean, you can attest to it because this is a marathon and you just can't put everything into a, 9, not even a 20 game pack. You really can't. You don't know exactly what you got until you're deeper into 30 or 40 games. That being said, because of the fact that it's every day and you see some glaring, miscues and mistakes, both defensively, but also on the mound, it scares you, So I have liked overall what I've seen from Kelly, the sinker baller and the big guy, Baker has thrown well. He closed out the game yesterday. So that's been nice, but definitely Griffin Jackson struggled. Now Garrett Clevenger, who I'm really high on, has got a calf, situation. You did bring up Hunter Biggie now, and I'm excited for him because this guy needed to get back to the big leagues. He's got a big league arm. But you're going to right now rely heavy on your starters, at least going 5, 6, and kind of giving a little bit of a breather to an early season slump, if you will, from the relievers. As far as offensively, I don't have any real issues offensively other than, they've battled, they're scrappy. When you look at their roster, you have a lot of players that are almost like the same player. When you look at the likes of Williamson and Vlade and Fraley, they're kind of all similar type of, you're going to mix and match those type of players. And the key guys have to really erupt, and that is Junior getting hot again. We saw him finally kind of loft the ball on a really good breaking pitch down and away that he reached out and hooked it out, got himself another RBI later on in the game. So he's on the board now after being shut out for, 30, 31 or 32 at bats. You need John D has just been ungodly, right? Mm-hmm. Just ungodly in over 400 and just such a tough out. Jonathan Aranda started hot in the first half of that 9-game series. Then he cooled off a little bit. Still small sampling, really high on Jonathan Aranda. And then, again, no big surprise that Chandler Simpson is getting on base, causing havoc, scoring runs, stealing a couple of bases. He's only going to get better and better and better. Now, is he going to have a 400 on base percentage all year long? No, but this guy. So my only contentious point with their offense is how varied their lineup is, Nick, on the day-to-day. They haven't had the same lineup back-to-back or even the same lineup. I think all 9 games have been a completely different lineup, all 9 games. That's kind of almost so hard to do, but so Rays. And, for example, Chandler Simpson has hit 6th, 7th, 8th, 5th. I still can't believe that one when they stuck him behind Jon D one game, and he's hit 3rd. I believe last game he hit 3rd. I don't really get that. We joke over here with Statty Seth, being the statistician, if you will, when you're going to group the 52 guys that they have with their MIT, diplomas. I'm not getting that. I would like to see, a little bit of more of a consistent lineup. Like, for example, I'm going to give you my lineup that I would love to see on a regular basis. You want to hear my lineup?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I think Chandler Simpson should lead off. If he's not leading off, then just go ahead and stick him in the 9 hole. Why in the 9 hole? Because you kind of wrap him around and he almost becomes a leadoff hitter later on, possibly, right? There might be times when he comes up and he's, I want him to have the opportunity to hit in front of Diaz, Aranda, Caminero. Mm-hmm. Diaz, Aranda, Caminero. That has to be like if you just have Simpson leading off, or even in the 9 hole, and you wrap back that around to Diaz, who's been leading off, you know, you get a chance that if there's no outs and Simpson gets on, dare I say, I'm going to put it at a 75% clip that he's going to score with Diaz, Aranda, Caminero coming up with no outs and Chandler Simpson somewhere on base, even at first base. He could steal. They could hit and run. By the way, they're using the hit and run a lot more this year. They're done it 2 or 3 times in this series, in this road trip. Love that, by the way, because these kind of similar type hitters, get them running, get them going. They're very athletic. But Diaz, Simpson, Diaz, Aranda, Caminero should be your 1 through 4. Just stamp it, right? Then you move into what I think should be a consistent Fraley, DeLuca 5 hole. Why? Because then you're going to give a little bit of, you know, comfort to Caminero that he knows who's behind him, right? And both guys can thump. We're not talking at the level of, you know, of JP favorite guy, Ozuna, that was available and ended up going where? I think he went to the Pirates. Yeah. You know, or my guy that I wanted, who just had the most incredible outfield game of all time, and Joe Adell, who made those 3 home runs. What a play of the week, number 1, 2, and 3. But Joe Adell would have been like so sweet in that 5 hole. But you still have that comfort, right, of knowing that Fraley's a thumper. Joe LaDuca is a quality bat. He's number 5. They're manning the platoon situation, lefty, righty, in right field. Mullins needs to play every day. I don't care, but you just need to get him comfortable and get those first 150, 200 at bats, and then he can hopefully ease into, you know, to some serious damage. So he's at the 6 hole. Then in the 7 hole, how good and promising and uplifting from spring training to the first 9 games has Ben Williamson been? Oh, he's been nice. You can stick him at second. You can stick him at short. He swings a great bat. He's got foot speed, very athletic, and very, pliable. I mean, he reminds me of a true Ben Zobrist type of a player, right? Size-wise, a little bit of pop. So then he's manning 7 hole until Lux gets back. Gavin Lux, yeah, maybe you platoon him at second base with Richie Palacio. Big home run yesterday in the 10th inning to win that game. Then Fortes has been a pleasant surprise in the spring, but also in the early part of the season as being a guy that can swing the bat a little bit and a quality defensive catcher. You cannot have Fiducia being in a platoon situation. Fiducia just needs to catch once a week, here and there, against a tough righty, and you give a breather to Fortes. And then Taylor Walls is back. Yes. And Taylor Walls coming back, I think, is early, honestly, because really early. It was supposed to be longer, but here he is. And the youngster Carson Williams gets sent down. Feel for Carson Williams, Nick, because he came in really, dedicated to cutting down his strikeouts, cutting down his swing, playing good defense, and just being, an exciting player. Showed bits of that, but also struggled. And I think he goes sent down now. He's hitting 120, I think, in short sampling. It's tough. The reason I feel for him is that he came out of spring doing so well. You have the injury to Taylor Walls. He gets 7 games basically and struggles overall offensively. But you can't put the world on a kid, in 7 games on the road in the first week of
I feel for him for sure. And we knew going in, he's far from a polished product, and he's got a lot of things that he has to clean up, and he wasn't going to make the big league roster until Walls got hurt.
Correct.
I think we knew that. I think there's something to be said of you never know when your opportunity comes.
That's true.
And you gotta, he needed it. This was a big moment for him to take advantage of it.
Right.
Unfortunately, 3 for 23 at the plate.
Yes.
Just 1 walk, 9 strikeouts.
The 9 strikeouts hurt.
And the defensive lapses, the errors, the plays that I said Taylor Walls will make in his sleep,
Right.
All that combined together, I think it came down to a point where we are right now, where's the value, right now in Carson Williams being on your big league roster. And I think Williamson made it tough too, because he's been swinging a good bat and he's been playing pretty solid defense. And then Lux's return seems to be around the corner.
Sure.
They seem to value Richie Palacios and his versatility. And yesterday, even though he wasn't swinging a good bat, then all of a sudden, I mean,
it's a clutch 2-run home.
I didn't see that coming from Richie.
Nobody did.
Nope.
I think that was the least expected home run of the first week of the majors. Has to be Richie Palacio popping a 10th inning 2-run jack to give you, they ended up tacking another run. I think all of that manifested him needing to go down. First and foremost, the 12 errors. Okay. 6 of them by his partner to his right. So, and then he committed one, and then a one that was ended up turning into a big, they gave a base hit, which was a bullet. It was like 109 or something.
It's a tough play.
It was a tough play.
The problem is we're comparing it to who would have been there.
Yeah,
we know Walls makes that play.
Walls makes that play. But then you put all those other errors from, Fortes made an error, a couple errors in the outfield.
Yeah. That's the other part of it too, is it's not just the errors in the field. They also are the Rays going to throw a runner out at second all year? Fortes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually, but Fortes is just a little. It seems like when he gets out of his stance, he's a bit slow.
Yeah,
everything feels too slow. Even his throws getting there, they're not on a line. They seem to be always off wide.
That's where Fiducia actually is a better thrower.
That's where Fiducia is better. But Fortes, I'm not going to complain much.
I'm not going to complain right now.
I'm seeing someone. I'm seeing a catcher for the Rays hitting 360, and it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, and he blocks well.
Yeah,
and he frames well. So the throwing is key. I'm not going to say it's not, but you can't have all things when it comes to Rays catching, because we haven't had it in forever. So for Carson Williams specifically, you're right. It's the errors around him. It's the couple of questionable plays by him. It's the strikeouts. And then you have a Richie Palacios that they feel at least has major league talent for where he's going to sink into.
Right.
Where he's going to sink into is part-time play, come in there every now and then. Maybe, the reality is that your utility players are going to end up being Ryan Vlade and Richie Palacios. Vlade in the outfield to spell some people, a platoon situation with Fraley and DeLuca. Thankfully, they're not going to be doing a platoon situation with Vlade and Chandler Simpson. They figured, after game 1, which shocked JP and I, not starting him, against a lefty. They've realized, okay, this kid needs to play every day.
He should be in the lineup every day. And it's a small sample size, but he's got 3 hits against lefties this year so far.
No, there's a larger sample size. He hit 295 last year against lefties.
So I don't know what the word is for it, but again, it's hard to find the correct word for it. But I go back to this quote here. There was a quote from Kevin Cash ahead of yesterday's game, and he was talked about potentially leading off Chandler Simpson. This is what he said. He said, there's a lot of conversation about Chandler. I totally appreciate and understand the sentiment that Chandler could be your prototypical leadoff hitter. He very well may be, but right now he's not. That was from Kevin Cash on Saturday. And I just
that doesn't explain it.
It doesn't explain it. And it just feels like we're overcomplicating things here.
Right.
I think that's the word I was looking for. We're overcomplicating it when it comes to Chandler Simpson, because you're telling me that he's not ready to be your leadoff hitter. But then you do something yesterday where he's hitting in the 3-hole.
Right.
I'm like, I don't.
So he can be your 3-hole hitter. He can be your 5-hole hitter.
I know,
but he can't be your leadoff hitter.
I know, and that baseball has changed.
100%.
There's a lot of numbers, and listen, I am big into the numbers. I think data is good. Like when people say it, when people completely shut down analytics. Well, analytics is data. You can't do it. The best teams, the best ball clubs always use analytics. I think sometimes it gets to a point where we're not taking in a feel for the game, during situations, whether or not this guy has it on the mound, or should we take him out, third time to the order,
right?
Bullpen usage. There's things like that get a little wishy-washy for me when it comes to analytics sometimes. But hitting this guy in the 9-hole or the 1-hole, I don't see why we can't do it, why we can't at least try it. Again, it's kind of hard to complain about the lineup right now, because I said this, the Rays are second in the American League in hits so far.
Sure.
Only the Houston Astros.
That's why I said it's only the lineup. It's not the hitting. It's not the actual.
Yeah,
Now they might come back and say, metric wise, well, that's why we have so many hits, because we play with the lineup so well and we match up perfectly.
Right.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think, that you have slashers on this team and you're going to get hits. I don't know if we're going to be, anywhere near the top of the home run.
That's the thing. I want to know if it's sustainable or not.
Sustainable,
because the Rays have 8 home runs through 9 games, which is, I think, it's like they're like tied with like 6 or 7 teams for like third worst in that category.
Right.
But the fact that they have been able to score, they're averaging 5 runs a game. They have 86 hits through 9 games.
Correct. Which is,
and you're
great.
doing that with Junior Caminero having 1 home run and 1 RBI.
2 RBIs now.
2 RBIs.
Yeah.
That is.
I 100% agree with you. But it's getting back to that comment, and as much as, I love Kevin Cash, and I think he's a phenomenal manager. You don't always agree with everything a phenomenal manager does.
No.
And this is one that I don't particularly agree with. Reason being that if you can justify, if you're saying he's not a leadoff hitter, he's not a 3-hole hitter.
No.
But you put him in the 3-hole. He's not a 5-hole hitter, but you started him a game in the 5-hole. Okay. But you won't put him in the 1 or the 9. At some point in time, you've already tried 5 different places for him. Why not just stick him in the 9 and see if it wraps back around to that tremendous trio, as I call him?
Right.
Or stick him in the leadoff role. He's showing that he's getting on base. So if you want to go by the samplings of what he did in spring training, coming out of spring training and showing, that he's getting on base, that he's bunting and he's being creative to raise that on base percentage to well over 350, then just let him try that. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
We don't need to belabor it too much. Eventually they're going to stick him there one game, and hopefully it turns into 10, and hopefully it turns into the rest of the season. Because I think that once they unleash that monster of that 4-pack, you're going to have teams worrying dramatically when that guy gets on and you have to deal with those 3 hot bats. Yeah. And the thing about those 3 hot bats, Nicky, it doesn't matter if it's righty or lefty. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Because if it's a righty, Yandy and Aranda and Caminero deal, right? If it's a lefty, Yandy and Aranda, who doesn't struggle against lefties, and Caminero deal. So you don't have to worry about is it a righty or a lefty? You worry about that later on with the Fraley's and the DeLucas and the Luxes and the Williamsons of the world. You don't have to worry about that with that 4-pack. And I think that's the key to consistent scoring for the Rays, throughout the season.
Yeah, it's about maximizing your lineup potential. Like what we've seen so far, I think we're good with it. But I just think you could be even better. And you want to,
which is promising.
Yeah. And you want to, I think, get the best out of your best player, and that's Junior Caminero. And we've seen it so far. Like, he's just not getting quality pitches to hit. And I think early on when the season started, he was doing a really good job of spitting on a lot of pitches and being patient at the plate.
But then you want to get your
This is a 22-year-old guy.
Yeah, he wants to get his RBIs.
In the thick of the order. I mean, he's rearing to get something.
Listen, you see it with Aaron Judge occasionally. You see it early on this season with the likes of Julio Rodriguez and the great big dumper, Cal Raleigh, who are stretching their where they should be in the zone dramatically and setting themselves up for bad at bats. So you can tell me you're not going to see it from Junior Caminero, that he's going to have some games where I got a guy on second. I'm going to reach out, and the battery knows it, right? So they're going to try to tinker with him. And that's why I say that the consistent 5-hole hitter is very key. So if he knows that he's got 2 guys that can handle the bat well, when you have a righty on the mound, Fraley handles the bat well. When you have a lefty on the mound, DeLuca handles the bat well. So that, you don't have to guesstimate and put, Mullins sometimes in the 5-hole. Then here comes a lefty, in the middle of the game. And now Caminero's looking back there. He's going, they're not going to pitch to me. What am I going to do now? Because they brought in that lefty really to pitch to Mullins, not to me. So While if they bring in a lefty, you know that DeLuca has bat, and goes up and hits for Fraley. So those things are going to be key. Bottom line, bullpen is most important. And like with any team, if your bullpen struggles throughout a whole season, it can struggle for a period of time. But if throughout the whole season you're lost in this new game of baseball in the last decade, Nikki, the team that has a questionable bullpen does not make the playoffs.
And I think with the bullpen, obviously Uceda being out is a big deal.
Huge.
Clevenger being out is a big
Hopefully
deal.
Short term.
Yeah, but the thing with Clevenger, it seems like his fastball velocity has been down to start the season, and
maybe it might have been his leg.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's been relying a little bit on his off speed, and I think when Clevenger's at his best, I think that fastball is sort of setting up everything else. So I'm not worried long term about him necessarily.
Yeah, I think he's going to ease into it. I think you had a guy in Clevenger and Jax that did something this year that was so exciting for them, and that is to play in the WBC, right? And you got to understand, I'm not saying it wasn't exciting for Terang and for Harper and for Judge, but there's so much more seasoned veterans. You know what I mean? Even the young Terang, has already been a star and a Platinum Glove winner. These two guys probably went in there going, man, we're going to show our wares and we're going to do our best. And that's the one slight drawback of the great, I'll say it again, the great WBC, because it is phenomenal. But guys aren't super ready then. So now you have, here comes Griffin Jackson, and he's out of the chute, not probably at 100%, even though he tried to get himself ready.
Right.
It's a different mindset and physical set. So, and then Clevenger now, has a little nicked up leg. So a lot of rush to get into, this season because of the WBC.
Yeah. So I'm not, those guys, they got some things to work out, but I think the bullpen, what I'm noticing is this is not a stable type bullpen like how they had before, where you had just a bunch of guys coming out and throwing velocity. You have Yoendrys Gomez, you have Cole Sulzer, Kevin Kelly, Mason Englert, even Seymour to an extent. I just think it's too many guys who are throwing in 92, 93. And not saying those guys don't have a place in the big leagues or anything like that. But
I see where you're going.
When do you know what I mean? You have too many of them. There's not a lot of swing and miss in those guys' games. And so when you open up to contact, and especially when you're pitching to hard contact, that's where things start to get a little hairy for you.
Especially if you're playing bad defense.
If you're not playing bad defense, that magnifies it. That's why, I said, I was surprised, Hunter Biggie, for example, didn't make the big league club.
Yeah, power arm
out of camp, because he's a power arm, and you saw him come up for Clevenger, and he had a good, and he pitches with a lot of emotion too.
Sure.
I love that stuff. Baker, no surprise, he's a guy that throws with velocity, and I almost want to see more of Baker. I felt like more until I saw him yesterday, the day before, I was like, oh wow, I haven't seen Brian Baker pitch in, it feels like a week.
He only had 2 innings before that.
Yeah, so, I was like, where's Baker at?
I want to see more Baker.
Obviously. Yeah, I don't when Kevin Kelly coming into that high leverage spot on Friday, I was like Kevin Kelly had a lot of struggles last year, and you look at this year, the ERA it's early, but the ERA is sitting at 17 right now. It's something. It's something crazy.
I always have liked him because you need that complete weird mix up.
Yeah, the arm angles.
Not only the arm angle, but the heavy movement of his pitches. So you have, key situations in the 6th and the 7th where you do need that ground ball with 1st and 3rd. You know what I mean? And that more than likely he's going to get that. So I like Kevin Kelly, but I agree with you 100% that the power arms aren't there. Here are 2 that are hopefully around the corner. One is Hunter Biggie, who just got called up. He's fully healthy, had a good spring. And then I think the equalizer is Edwin Uceda. I dare say that how this bullpen goes will be how Edwin Uceda goes.
Yes.
That's how dramatic he can be. So if you can get Hunter Biggie throwing like Hunter Biggie, get Clevenger back, right? You can swap out. There's a couple of guys there that could gladly be swapped out, including Eglert, and a couple other guys. Gomez, of course, could be sent out. And then you input Clevenger back, hopefully in a couple of weeks, and then you bring back Uceda. Now you got some hammers that you're talking about. You got some velocity to mix in with the Ian Seymours of the world and the Kevin Kellys of the world. So then you get to the meat of the 8-9 situation, and you're going Baker, Uceda, Biggie, and you mix in Jax as he gets comfortable, because Jax has nasty stuff, but does have a tendency to struggle in high leverage situation.
And I also think down in AAA right now, you also have Evan Reifert, who, if a lot of people aren't familiar with him, and I know not everybody follows the AAA club, but he's had a really strong start to the season. I think 4 scoreless innings down there.
Got a good arm.
And last year in AAA, he had a 15.8 Ks per 9.
Wow.
In 29 AAA appearances. And he's got a really strong breaking ball. The 4-seamers, it's like not great. It's 94, 95, but he's got a really, really good breaking ball, and he's striking out a lot of batters for that. So that's another guy like that I would like to see maybe at some point, like if Englert continues to struggle or Gomez doesn't pick it up. You got a lot of options there that you can move
100% they'll do that movement. I do want to ask you a question, though. So what do you do when Ryan Pepio comes back, which shouldn't be that long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how well Joe Boyle has pitched?
I don't know how you send Boyle back down there. I just think he's above that at this point.
And he's thrown it out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
So then you're talking about those power arms that you want coming out, and a guy struggles through, Steven Matt struggles through 4 1/3. Joe Boyle comes in from the right side now throwing hammers after Matt is throwing, sinkers and sliders.
Yeah. I would prefer I like keeping guys like in their routine, and he's a starter. I don't see the Rays. I don't know if they'd be into the whole six-man rotation type deal.
I'll tell you what, he's impressed the heck out of me, though.
Yeah, I mean,
he seemingly has fixed, his focus of and walk to strikeout ratio.
Yeah, he's only got 3 walks this year so far.
Right,
and he's got the 13 strikeouts in 2 games, which is number 1 on the team. That's a guy I think sending him down to AAA, in my opinion, is not on the table right now.
I don't think it would be, right?
I don't think it should be. Nick Martinez has also been really, really, good so far through 2 games.
The veterans, Martinez and Max,
they've won all their 4 games. Have been in their starts.
I'm okay with keeping them in the 4-5.
Yeah,
and then you have your three studs to begin with, which needed to be the 3 studs, are your hammers. Rasmussen is turning the corner to become an all-star pitcher.
Yeah.
Sugar Shane, if he stays healthy, you're going to get some nasty Sugar Shane. He's his changeup looks great, and he just looks in command. We'll see how he does today, and I'm excited about it. And then Ryan Pepio deserves the opportunity to be that horse again that he was last year. So what do? Do you go to a 6-man? Maybe not a bad idea. Oh, by the way, because then you shore up the arms of, you just kind of mix and match, and you give the veteran guys more time off, right? The Matts and the Nick Martinez's, who are older and you would think die out in the second half. And then you give an opportunity for Boyle to slide in there, right? And then, it gives probably the key guy in that 6-man rotation, Shane McClanahan, not needing to tally too many innings, but you have them fresh as hell. Listen, the team that I came from with the Seibu Lions notoriously runs a 6-man staff. And in fact, that's kind of been a little bit of the issue with Tetsuya Imaya, who threw just the other day. I don't know if you watched a little bit of the highlights of his start. Tetsuya is a special pitcher, and he's going to do well in the major leagues. He's not Yamamoto, but he's damn good. And with a slider that is one of the best sliders in all of baseball. And I'll say it right now. Watch Tetsuya Imaya's slider. He throws 2 different sliders. One that literally, is a regular, typical slider, but there's another one that he presses on that actually, it's almost like a snake. It goes like this, and then it breaks away. It's a crazy pitch. He came from a 6-man rotation. So, Houston's trying to kind of manipulate him to either get comfortable at a 5, or maybe, use them in that 6. I'm not opposed to a 6-man rotation at all.
Yeah, me neither. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. But again, today, Shane McClanahan taking to the bump. It should be a fun one. Excited to see him. I thought his stuff looked good last week. He fell apart in the 5th. It is
just
what
a little
it is.
bit.
He was really hard on himself, but that guy's a competitor, man.
Yeah,
he is an absolute beast out there, and I hope he has his best today against Chicago in front of a sold-out crowd. So that should be fun. Before we hit break, you got any other quick notes you want to make on the Rays? Because then when we come back, we'll go over a little bit of the league, what we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of great stuff. No, I mean, it's just an exciting, opening day. And again, I can't say enough about St. Pete and the city. So congratulations to all of them.
Yes, absolutely. So should be fun. All right, we're going to hit a break. Good more remind you Golden Diamond Source. Diamond Days celebrate April's birthstone, diamonds, and they take center stage up to 20% off diamond jewelry throughout the month of April. The Golden Diamond Source can help you trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase. And with gold prices at record highs, now is the best time. They only sell natural diamonds, which is very important. And if it's real love, it should be real natural diamonds. With the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyer program, learn all about the 4 Cs and all the different shapes and styles. They are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. So make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond, 3800 Olmerton Road, and always online at the goldanddiamondsource.com. Back in 3.
Hey, JP here for Genesis of Tampa and the Murphy Auto Group. I think the best way to experience a business is to use that business. And I just did at Genesis of Tampa. Just bought a GV70, a 2023, and it feels and drives all new. It's an absolutely fantastic car. The technology, the comfort, and the price, absolutely outstanding. Frankly, I never thought I could get into a car like this, but they made me a deal I could not refuse. And I also get the VIP service where you can just drive right up, their pit stop service. They'll top off all the fluids, make sure your air in your tires is good, new wipers if you want them. If you need extended service, they will come to you, bring you a courtesy car, and then bring your car back. What more do you want? The experience was just VIP all the way. And you can get that at Genesis of Tampa. And don't forget, you can get extended warranty, which I did. So I have worry-free miles up to 100,000. And all they do is just take it in. Actually, I don't have to take it in. They come to me. It's perfect. It's Genesis of Tampa right there, 801 East Bears Avenue, right off of 275. Go see them and tell them JP sent you. As the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana Field home this season that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind us all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and the right coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, over $500 on our homeowners insurance. They can do the same for you. That's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Cost less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with our all-star agents at Italiano Insurance, or call our Boca Grande office at 941-964-0400. It's Diamond Days at the Golden Diamond Source. Celebrate April's birthstone, which is diamonds, as they take center stage, up to 20% off the diamond jewelry throughout the month of April. And don't forget, you can trade in your broken or old jewelry towards something new and beautiful. Gold prices are at a record high. Now is the best time. And by the way, they only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source. It's real love. It should be real natural diamonds. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Really, really bad idea. And for the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyers, they are going to teach you all about the 4 Cs and all the different shapes and styles. They are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And by the way, you can trust them. They've been in business for over 40 years. Don't buy something online. You have no idea what you're getting. 0% financing for up to 5 years. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond. 3800 Olmerton Road. Always online at goldendiamond.com. Hey guys, you already know that Riveters is the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay, but now it gets even better for Rays baseball season. During all Rays games, check this out, $6 Tito's, $6 Jack, $6 margaritas, all during Rays games. Are you kidding me? And that's always a great pour from the great bartenders at Riveters. Great service, great food, everything is fresh, nothing is frozen. And let me tell you, if you want baseball and wings, you will not find any better than Riveters. Their sauces, like the blue cheese and the ranch and everything, is handmade, and the wings are big and they're perfect. Wings, baseball, Rays, Riveters. It all comes together during baseball season. Once again, in addition to all the great food and service, you get $6 Tito's, $6 Jacks, $6 margaritas. It's time to celebrate. Baseball season is back, and celebrate at Riveters. You know where it is, right there on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of the stadium. See you there at Riveters. Pitch Roofing believes giving back is part of doing business the right way. That's why they proudly offer exclusive discounts to those who gave the most to our communities, including veterans, first responders, seniors, and teachers. And for listeners of the JP Peterson Show, there's even more good news. Pitch Roofing is now offering a special discount just for fans of the show. With so many roofing companies coming and going in Florida, it's important to choose a contractor you can count on long after the job is done, especially when it comes to honoring your warranty. Pitch Roofing is built for the long haul with a reputation for quality, transparency, and standing behind their work. Whether it's a repair or a full replacement, their team delivers honest guidance, quality workmanship, and no high-pressure sales. Call 727-67-PITCH, 727-677-4824, or visit pitchroofing.com to schedule a free estimate.
Pitch roofing, roofing done right.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back here on a Monday, JP Peterson Show. JP out in Colorado. Orestes Destrade joining me here on the show.
Having a fun time.
Having
With the Petermans out there.
Yes, all the Petermans out there tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Rays' first game back at home in Tropicana Field in a long, long time. I want to remind you guys about Pitch Roofing. Always get 2 or 3 estimates for replacing your roof, and be sure to include Pitch as one of the roofing companies. With a free estimate from Pitch, they are not trying to hard sell you. They educate you on your roof and the process. Even if you do not choose Pitch as your roofer, they want to leave you feeling informed, knowing the different materials and manufacturers, and understanding the process and warranties. Pitch is an Owens Cumming preferred contractor, BBB accredited, and MySafe Florida Home improved. Pitch provides themselves on full transparency and customer first level service. They also offer financing options, including 0% plans, ensuring a stress-free experience. That is Pitch Roofing, 727-67-PITCH, 727-677-4824, and always at pitchroofing.com. All right, so we want to switch over a little bit to talking about the generality of the Major League season, which is now a week or so in. Everybody, I think, has basically played 9 to 10 games at this point. Want to focus in a little bit on the AL East, because it's been a little bit of a slow start for everybody not playing in the Bronx. The Yankees are off to a 7-2 start.
Yes.
They got a ridiculous plus 25 run differential
see
already.
That?
Yeah, and it's the pitching. They've only given up 22 runs
in 9 games.
In 9 games. They're just, every guy they throw out there, from Fried to Schittler. And
they finally gave up the ghost yesterday, against the Marlins in their bullpen.
Yeah. But
other than that, they've been stellar. Both, starter and by the way, Luis Hill is coming back this weekend. In fact, he's slated to start against the Rays. So here's I
forgot that
arm.
we're gonna see them this weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a big week for the Rays. I think you kind of got a chance to see where the Rays were against Milwaukee, because that to me is, I think Milwaukee. I mean, the Dodgers, until somebody knocks them off their perch, that's
Milwaukee's
the best team.
legit.
Milwaukee is just, in general, I feel like it's a team where every year we go into a season and we look at that NL Central,
right,
and we go, all right, Milwaukee's cool, but do they have enough firepower? Let's go pick somebody else to win that division. And then every year it's like this year, they traded Peralta.
Yes.
I mean, 2 years ago they let Burns walk, and they always just figure it out.
They figure it out, dude. Talking about a run differential, Milwaukee leads the world, including the Yankees, with a plus 28. They've scored 60 and only given up 32. A surprising team in the NL East is the Atlanta Braves, off to a really solid start, 6-4. Wasn't expecting that.
Pitching fantastic too.
Yeah, they're pitching phenomenally,
even with all the injuries.
Exactly. Go figure that. How well they pitched.
Schwellenbach is out. I know there's one other big name I'm missing right now who's out too, and they got like Elders throwing gems for them again.
Strider's
out. That's the other one.
Strider's out for a little bit. I don't think should be long, but he's out. No, they've done incredible. But when you look at the AL East, there is not a team other than the Yankees with their gaudy plus 25 differential that has a plus differential in the AL East.
It really goes to the whole American League. If you look at it, you only got 3 teams that are over 500. Everybody's 4-5.
What's going on there?
It's weird because I thought the American League only 9 games, but
it's only 9 games.
I thought the American League coming in I thought it was head and shoulders above the NL personally. Like I thought the AL was going to be an absolute dogfight this year, and I think it's still going to be. But to your point, everybody's slow in the AL East. Toronto has been a little shocking. I think they've dropped 4 in a row.
Swept by the White Sox? Was it that they got swept?
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, this is a team. You got Baltimore with an abysmal offense right now. Taylor Ward's the only one that's really hitting, and he hasn't even hit a home run yet. But he is hitting well. Everybody else is under 230. Again, 9 game. That's not gonna happen. They have too much good hitting. But Boston is atrocious offensively. They're at a negative 15 run differential. Not only are they not scoring, Nikki, but they're getting pummeled and giving up 45 runs. The Rays are the only team that's given up more runs than you would have thought, far and above that. The Rays with the terrible road trip, on the mound with their bullpen, in gaudy games of 9 and 11, and things like that they'd be far and away. But no, Boston's struggling their butts off. So all 4 of the other teams, other than the New York Yankees, have struggled. So early on, it's interesting, but that does kind of make, get you a warm and fuzzy with the Rays, that you're back, you're in the pack there.
Yeah.
You got the storied Yankees coming in, after you don't look ahead to them, but you have the Chicago White Sox. We'll talk about them briefly before we go here. But the bottom line is that they're sitting in second place. You know what I mean? Along with Toronto at 4-5, Boston is Baltimore is 3-6, and the lowly Boston Red Sox are 2-7. So no panic. You start winning. All you start thinking about now is winning series. They just came off of winning a series in Minnesota, win a series, take 2 out of 3 from Chicago, take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, and you're in the mix. And, you go into week 3 feeling a lot more comfortable than after, the first week and a half of the season. So, the rest of if you're going to look at some surprises, obviously, the glaring surprise in the major leagues right now has to be the Florida Marlins. And, shoring up first place after 9 games, 10 games for the Mets and the Atlanta in the NL East. They're getting great pitching, a rare, not only complete game, but, a complete game shutout, 93-pitch gem by Sandy Alcantara. I just think that right now they're getting a little bit of everything. They truly are the little engine that could type of a team, because they have a bunch of no-names and a bunch of youngsters that had some decent seasons last year that are starting to shine with some really quality arms. So I think the Miami Marlins, my old team, the Florida Marlins, are off to a great start.
And I don't know how many people are aware of this at this moment, but how about hit leader, average leader in Major League Baseball right now? You know who it is?
Liam Hicks.
Nope.
No. I don't know.
It's Xavier Edwards.
Edwards.
Former Ray. He's 16 for 34 to start the season, hitting 471.
And he hit a jack yesterday.
He did. And only him and Andy Pages tied for 16 hits and a 471.
Yeah.
471. It must be nice to have your 7 or 8 hole hitter.
Yeah, yeah,
in your,
well, that's,
in your lineup. But
yeah,
that's what happens when you
when you're the Dodgers.
when you're the Dodgers. Another team that I know it's only 10 games in, but I am concerned, and I'm pounding the alarm bell on this team. I want to get your thoughts, and that's the San Francisco Giants. Because this is an interesting experiment that I feel like the Giants are doing this year. You have a first-time GM, Buster Posey, obviously franchise legend, Hall of Fame player, I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
And they went out and did something pretty unconventional by going out and bringing in Tony Vitello from Tennessee.
Massively unconventional.
Tony Vitello, probably top 3 manager in college baseball.
Right.
Nobody going to dispute that. I don't think you've seen someone with no prior big league experience come straight to college. Not even big league experience, Nicky, just pro experience. It just doesn't happen in
so
baseball.
It doesn't have to be big league, but let's say you were a massive, college coach with great tenure and great experience and winning, and then you go into the pro ranks and you manage A-ball, AA, and AAA, and you have some successes. Nothing wrong with that. And then, hey, boom, within 2 or 3 years, this guy's a major league manager. This is totally, against the grain. And a lot of it is because of the fact that you have so many, there's a turning of the guard in Major League Baseball over the last 5 to 10 years where a huge youth movement is going on.
Right.
So think about how many stars are in the making that are 25 or 26 and under. So then the thought, I'm sure, by Posey and his staff were like, why don't we bring in somebody that kind of understands that mentality? Our team is young, and, we kind of just can build off this guy. It's still going to be an interesting, again, small sampling. We'll see how that works out. I like his energy because he's young.
It just feels like it's been noisy for 10 games. And I don't know if it's because
noisy is a good word.
I don't know if it's because the microscope is even more on them because of this, but you've already seen some some pretty bizarre handling of the bullpen from Tony Vitello. You've seen this lineup, which has struck out, I think, 83 times in 10 games. You got 4 guys who have struck out over 12 times for them. And it's literally like all of their heavy hitters in that lineup, from Helio Ramos to Devers to Willie Adames, who's always been a strikeout guy. They just have nothing going for them offensively at the moment. They've been shut out 3 times, I think. They've had a couple other games where they scored 1 run or they scored 10 runs. Like, I think they have 22 runs as a team, and they had like 19 of them in 2 games. Like, it's
and 8 errors.
Like, it's just, there's nothing exciting about this team. You saw Matt Chapman. Casey Schmidt was playing first base the other day, and he dropped a few. Dropped a few from Chapman at third, and Chapman, very audibly, you could read his lips on the mound visit, catch the effing ball. And he has to go out and address that because
everybody caught it.
Everybody caught it.
Unlike catching the ball, they caught his speech.
Yeah. This is just like, it's just an organization. They were the team of the 2010s, 3 World Series championships. And they just seem to be you want to talk about stuck in the middle. But now this year so far, all the way at the bottom of the league, like, I don't like the vibes in San Francisco. Not one bit.
And you've got, veterans and Chapman and Devers that are kind of really the guys that are called upon to be the big run producers. They're off to a slow start, both of them. You've got a guy in Willie Adames, who we know very well, and I think is a star player, both defensively and can be offensively, but he's also such a streaky hitter.
Very.
So you can't, lay your crown on him to be, quote unquote, the leader. He'll go off for a month and win you a bunch of games. You just hope that he gives you some solid defensive shortstop play. That kind of hasn't really happened yet. So you're right. That is a team with this experiment glaring. You're not talking, you have a Jim Leland or a Bruce Bochy, leading the way and going, calm down, guys. We're going to figure this out. This is a massive experiment that when it starts out like this, it's glaring.
And there's a difference between dealing with, college kids and dealing with, grown men. I feel like that just has to be like a huge difference for Tony Vitello. So maybe he figures it out and this is just growing pains. But like I said, I think noisy is the right word to describe it.
Yeah.
Another team that I think has been impressive, they're riding a 5-game win streak so far, is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And a lot of talk about them coming into the season. They opened up the checkbook a little bit this offseason.
Yeah.
They traded for Brandon Lau, brought in Ryan O'Hearn, brought in Marcell Ozuna, a lot of different guys that they've brought into the fold here. And then we knew pitching wise, Paul Skeens, you've seen Bubba Chandler now.
Yes.
He was one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. He's up there. Mitch Keller has been sort of a steady presence in that rotation for a few years now. So they're pitching really well. They've been solid, made 5-game winning streak. They just swept Baltimore after winning 2 of 3 against Cincinnati rather. So far it looks like the little hype around Pittsburgh, they might be a sneaky little contender.
They got a kid. Don't they have a kid? Is he on the big league camp from University of Florida? Also, Jason, or what's the other kid that they have that's supposed to be a standout arm? I can't find him right now, but I think he might be in AAA. But their rotation has the potential to be just super nasty for many coming years. As young, as talented as they are, and you mentioned Chandler and obviously Paul Skeens. So when you add a little bit of offense, which they have this year, I thought the pickup of O'Hearn along with our guy Brandon Lau was clutch, but O'Hearn maybe even more so because they needed somebody to protect Lau. So this is a sleepy little team,
they brought up,
having played for that city and for that town or city. It's not a town, and the great fandom that is the Pittsburgh Pirates fandom. You give them a little bit of taste of winning, they're going to show up. One of the best stadiums in all of baseball. I just think that's exciting. That's good for baseball to have the Pittsburgh Pirates back.
Yeah, and they brought up Connor Griffin as well. They didn't waste. They didn't waste any time. He had the walk-off hit. Now it's 1 for 9. That's his only hit so far. Right. So we know again he's 19 years old. I mean, he's 19.
He's going to be fine. The kid's he's scary, reminding me of Alex Rodriguez. At size. Yeah, no, I mean power potential, size, 6'4", like Alex, big hands, just athletic. This kid's got a lot of upside, and Alex came up at 19 years old as the Ken Griffey Jr. So we haven't seen that in a long time, other than let me think, 19-year-olds. Andrew Jones was up at 19.
Soto
was up at 19, was the last big one, right? Soto. I want to say that there was another one there that I kind of remember, but 19 is rare earth. Miguel, I think he was Miguel Cabrera might have been 20.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah, he might have been 20. Yeah, but still, that's rare earth right there.
All right, so we got some. There you go. We got a little. We got some
around
teams,
the league.
A little around the league update.
Real quick
there.
Before we go there, I know you. I'm not saying you like them, but give me your all-around take on the Boston Red Sox and what's going on there.
It just
because this is one of our rivals, and we have so many. If we have anything in the Tampa Bay area, is we have Red Sox, Yankee fans, a lot of Jays fans, because you have a lot of Canadians that have moved down here, and especially in Dunedin, but mostly Red Sox and Yankee fans that amongst our
the Red Sox
fans
feel like an organization that they don't remember who they are. Is I guess the way to put it. I think they're just sort of like a hodgepodge of these players, and I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to some of the moves that they've made. Like you're the Boston Red Sox. I expect you to be going out and getting the best in class everywhere, and they can say that they were trying to get Pete Alonso. They can say that they were trying to get Bregman back. Like
resign Bregman.
Like that's in my opinion. It's like you had him in your building. You went out and got him last offseason. Like how in the world do you not make a good enough effort to get him back in there after you just went on that run and went into the playoffs and provided and made some noise in a year where I thought they were going to be down last year. Like that was a little surprising to me. I mentioned this in the break to you. They traded Devers. Okay, fine. Get the max value. Did they really get max value for him? Don't know, but I do know the number one player in that deal was James Tibbs. And then you traded him immediately for Dustin May last year.
That didn't work.
May's been a disaster his first 2 starts in St. Louis. Tibbs is hitting over 500 in AAA for the Dodgers.
Hello.
The other two in that deal were Kyle Harrison. Now, Kyle Harrison, you traded him to Milwaukee to go get Caleb Durbin. And Caleb Durbin, good with the glove, but not good with the bat. And
Right.
he's been struggling this year. He's 2 for 28 at the plate. You got a lot of guys in that lineup from Story to, Roman Anthony, Jaron Duran, who, they don't even want Duran.
No.
It's very open. They were trying to trade him.
They were trying to trade him.
And they didn't do it. They brought in Wilson Contreras. He's on the wrong side of 30. Like, it's what I'm saying. It's just a lot of collection of pieces where I'm just like, they don't look like they fit together.
I don't know if they fit together either. And I think coming out of spring, I felt like their offense was going to be a problem. It's already glaringly showing to be a problem. I think the two bats that have to have monster years, not just good years, but great years, and they're capable, don't get me wrong, is Abreu and obviously Anthony. And Abreu's off to a hot start already. He's hitting 429 in just a short season. He's already got 3 jacks. That kid is a surprise power talent. Not surprised, but it hasn't been talked about. Mostly been talked about his defense, but I don't think people realize how powerful he is. And then Anthony it can be whatever he wants to be because he's that good a hitter. So he needs to go out there and hit 320 and hit 25 bombs, drive in hopefully 100 for them. But if those two guys just have good years, they're in trouble run producing because Mayer is not a huge bat. Duran is an exciting bat, but he's not a huge bat. I'm sorry, but Contreras is not going to give you the numbers that you got from Devers, let's say.
Yeah.
And Story's also
Very
on the
up and
backside
down.
of 30 and a gamer, but I'm sorry. So you're looking for possibly Yoshida maybe to step up and do some surprise stuff, but you're right. It's hodgepodge. So the thing that they do have is that they have monster pitching at their disposal. So if they can get these guys to just start shutting people down, but they haven't, 45 runs they've given up, that's where they need to be and play 4-3 games on the side of winning. Because other than that, I'm telling you, it could be if Boston has a long season, heads will roll.
Well, for the Rays' sake, if they want to continue to flounder, by all means, means, keep it up.
All about that.
All right, we'll wrap it there. Orestes, thank you so much for joining us.
My friend.
Love it. Love talking ball. JP will be on tomorrow, I think, for a little bit with Tim Ham. So have a full report over there from Colorado. Enjoy the game tonight. Michigan, UConn playing for a national championship. Oh, by the way, it's Masters Week. It's the one time of the year where even the casual of the casuals of golf fans, they're here.
I got my golf shirt on.
I got my golf shirt on too. I look like I'm ready to play 18 right now. Fortunately, I cannot. But thank you guys for joining us here on a Monday. Tim Ham back tomorrow on a Tuesday. Enjoy a beautiful day in Tampa Bay and enjoy, hopefully, a Rays victory. See y'all next.